Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are taking a look at my 3-month swing kind of transformation since the return of golf here in the UK. What I've been working on this last 3 months, because for me personally, I wouldn't say I've done that much work, but I would say that a lot has changed in my golf swing. I've actually managed to somehow changed quite a lot in quite a short period of time. So I'll be telling you how I've been working on it a little bit, as well as what I've been working on and also what I will continue to be working on. So first of all, let's dive in and let's take a look at what my golf swing was like 3 months ago when golf really returned here in the UK. Now, welcome to the channel. If you are new to the channel, thank you very much for clicking on this video. Make sure you give it a like and subscribe and comment any thoughts you have down below. I reply to all of your comments, so make sure to do that. If you want to see a particular video of mine or have any thoughts on this current video, comment them down below. So let's dive straight in. So let's have a look. First of all, we're going to have a look at this iron swing from a few months ago. I believe this was an 8 or 9 iron, probably an 8 iron by the looks of it. And here I'm just set up at my driving range of my local club. So first of all, setup position. Well, let's just play this swing through and you guys can see what you think of it slowly. At like kind of first looks, it doesn't look too bad. I did no work on it through lockdown here in the UK, and yeah, it doesn't look that bad. So let's take it back to the start. Let's talk through a few things that were wrong in my golf swing, which I'm now addressing. First things, there are a few little things at setup. My hips, if you notice, are actually sat a little bit behind my ankles. This is something I'm trying to address, getting my hips more in line with my ankles. It's kind of a little bit difficult, but it's something actually, if you watch any of the best players in the world, Tiger, Adam Scott, Jordan Spieth, Rory McIlroy, Bryson DeChambeau, anyone, they get their hips directly over their ankles. In the setup position, it's something that, for most of you watching, you probably never thought about, really. I know I hadn't. I have been working with a golf coach who actually used to coach Tiger Woods. His name's Peter Murphy. He's over in America. And he's been giving me a bunch of stuff to work on, which I'm going to talk you through in a few minutes. So let's just have a look at this. Let's take the club back and pause it parallel to the ground. Now, overall, not bad, but a few little things to address. I've already started to hinge the club just a little bit, which I'm trying to kind of eliminate. And also, if you know, it kind of looks like I've taken the club away with my body, but the problem is I'm actually swaying with my lower body quite a lot, as in my knees are kind of turning instead of pivoting. Instead of creating tension with the ground, and working and pivoting, they're kind of swaying. And what the easiest way to explain that is, in the golf swing, you don't really, in the takeaway and backswing, if you think about where your kneecaps are facing, you obviously, when you're set up to the ball, they're facing pretty much directly forwards, or just slightly out to the side, but you don't really want that changing as you take the club away too much. You want to be pivoting using the ground, creating tension, but you don't want your knees to be swaying in each direction too much. And this is a very bad habit I got into, and it led to a lot of bad ball striking when my swing didn't look that bad, but it led to some bad golf shots. So those are two things. Let's slowly play it to the top. You can see that club's going to hinge quite quickly. Again, something I'm kind of working on. If we pause it at the top, arms a little bit deep. Again, we can actually, if you look at my knees and my lower body, you can see kind of exactly what I was talking about, that my kneecaps are now pointing more towards the camera than they were at setup. Not something I want. My arms are a little bit deep, just a little bit deep with that right arm. Something I'm always trying to work on, creating a bit more width in the golf swing. Something Butch Harmon and Tiger Woods have really talked a lot about. So that's another thing I'm kind of been working on, which we might see a little bit more of when we take a look at my current golf swing. So as we play this down, club's going to shallow reasonably well, and if we pause it parallel to the ground, not a bad position. Club's on plane. Not bad there. Yeah, there's little things I've picked up on, but nothing huge. If we play it through to impact, pause at impact, you can see I kind of start to extend that right arm from here, really. I've probably started to extend it a little bit earlier than I'd like, and not as much rotation as I would personally like. As we play it through, I'm going to have to release the hands quite hard and kind of flip that club over a little bit as we come through to the finish. Let's just have a look. We're going to have a look at two more quick things from a few months ago. One's with 3-wood. I'm not going to give you guys too much detail about this because you're going to see the same sort of things I've just explained, but you'll probably see them even more exaggerated. So set up here with 3-wood. Hips are a little bit sat too far back, a little bit too much kind of bending the knees. I look like I'm more like squatting down a little bit, kind of sitting down instead of creating better structure and setup with the golf ball. As we take this club back again, you're probably going to notice similar things. I won't pause this one, just a little bit early hinge, a little bit narrow, a little bit deep at the top. If we actually pause it at the top, you can really see how much my kneecaps have really turned here. The lower body, I don't have a lot of mobility in my hips, and my lower body you can kind of tell that because my knees just want to sway to the right as I take the club back. As we play this down, I'm going to have to release really hard with the hands to square up that club face as well. Just not using the ground very effectively. Let's have a look at a driver swing. You're going to see pretty much the same thing as we take the club back. Again, at address, you can kind of see I'm sitting a little bit too far back as we take the club away. Yeah, just hinge it a little bit early, a little bit narrow. Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Early extend a little bit with this one as well. That right heel comes off the ground quite early. And flip the hands again. So now let's take a look at my golf swing from the last week and see how it's looking. I'm going to show you a few videos. Well, the first one is with a 6-iron. This is when I was doing some work on the driving range. Now, you'll probably notice immediately in my posture, that looks a lot better. It certainly looks a lot better to me. I'm still trying to get my hips a little bit further forward over my ankles, but it's definitely better. Posture and setup definitely looks more like a professional golfer. As we take the club back, if I pause it parallel to the ground, we are going to notice not as much wrist hinge so early, which is good. I'm still trying to keep the club a little bit squarer earlier in this position. You can see it's kind of maybe a tiny bit open compared to my spine angle, but not bad, but just a little bit, trying to still create a little bit less wrist hinge so early and a little bit more of a square club face. It's just something I'm constantly working on. And as we take it to the top, definitely more width if we pause it at the top, much better position. You can see those hands are much further away from my right ear. And if you look at my lower body, it's not perfect, but it's better. It's definitely better. The knees have not swayed as much. They are not perfect. I am still working on it, but it is slowly getting better. If we play this down, club's going to shallow nicely. If we pause it parallel to the ground, pretty good position. Again, not bad at all. And if we slowly play this, I'd like the club, first of all, I'd like the club face to be a little bit squarer. And I would like to have my right elbow a little bit more tucked in. And I'd like to have the hips sat a little bit further back and my chest a little bit more over the ball. But I'm very much a perfectionist when it comes to my golf swing. I'm very nitpicky about it. If we play it through to impact, not bad. I would say I'm a bit more open there with the chest and hips than I previously was. And yeah, a little bit better. It looks like I've got more weight coming through to my left side, which is good, as I'm trying to kind of compress the golf ball a bit more. If we play this through slowly, little bit less kind of flip with the hands and better posture as we slowly come through to that finish, and definitely a better swing. Let's have a look at 3-wood now. Setup, again, you can notice here compared to the previous 3-wood, huge difference, absolutely huge difference here. Setup so much better. If we take the arms are hanging down really nicely. If we take the club away slowly, stays nice and low, nice and wide. If we pause it here, really like that position, much better. As we take it to the top, more width, pause it at the top, is such a better position. It's just, there's a lot of things that are better about it. Yes, my lower body's not perfect, those knees are still moving to the right a little bit, but it's getting better, and quite a lot better in a short period of time when I haven't done that much work on it. And one of the reasons I actually think it is getting better without me having done much work on it is because for the 3 months that we were in lockdown here in the UK and you couldn't play any golf, I did not touch a golf club. I'm not saying this is a good thing, by the way, but I didn't chip a ball around the house or in the garden. I didn't swing a golf club in a net or anything. I didn't even pick up a golf club. And that's a good thing in terms of fixing my swing, because it means I haven't ingrained any bad habits. I've kind of almost made myself a little bit more open to change. If you think about, like, it will be easier to coach someone into a good golf swing who has never swung a golf club than someone who has swung a golf club wrong and badly for most of their life, because they will have ingrained so many bad habits, and the person who has never played golf or swung a golf club will be a clean slate. You can build them from the ground up, which is kind of what we're saying with my swing, because it really needs to change a little bit from the ground up. As we start to play the swing down, club shallows really nicely, flattens out a little bit, pulls it here, parallel to the ground. I would love for that right elbow still to be more tucked in. Pretty much similar things to what I said before, because I've mostly been trying to fix the takeaway and backswing, because, you know, that is the building blocks of the swing: setup, takeaway, backswing, then it all leads to everything else. And if we play this through to impact, again, a little bit more open than I probably was before, and play this through, keeping the arms and hands more in front of my body, not such a big flip or release with the kind of hands and arms, so a lot better there. Let's just take a look at 2 other swings from, actually this was yesterday, because actually these swings aren't as good and they show a little bit more flaws of what I want to be working on. By the way, guys, I'm going to be doing as my next video, well, sorry, not my next video, but probably the one after that, basically my swing versus Tiger Woods' golf swing, because I use Tiger's swing as a blueprint for my own golf swing. That is, I think it's a great way to do it, not just with Tiger's swing, but if you find a golf swing you like, who has maybe like a similar-ish size to you, similar proportions. You don't really want to be copying like Dustin Johnson unless you are just a freak athlete and you're 6'4" and have a wingspan that's absolutely huge. You don't really want to be copying that. So yeah, choose someone a little bit more attainable, a little bit more who doesn't require so much athleticism, because if I tried Dustin Johnson's golf swing, it would not go well. I'd probably break my body in half. So let's have a look at this driver swing first of all. Again, this is a good angle to see that my hips are definitely better and my setup overall is better. I'm not kind of squatting down so much. It doesn't look like I'm sitting down so much. I'm kind of stood more upright and a bit more over the ball. As we take the club away, not bad here. Not a bad position at all, but I would like that face to be squarer, parallel with my, with my spine angle. And, you know, a little bit less wrist hinge as well. I'm hinging it a little bit early for what I would personally like to see. It's not a bad thing. Some players hinge it earlier than others. And if we play this swing to the top, I keep the club on a pretty good plane, but at the top of the swing, I've got the club more in front of me and a little bit more above my shoulder plane, which I kind of want to see a little bit, but, and also bear in mind the lower body here is so much better than it once was. Not perfect, but better. And it actually looks like more of a functional dynamic movement. But the club at the top, I would like to see it a little bit more laid off. It's kind of, if I had a bit more wrist hinge, it would maybe be either down the line or even a little bit across the line. I want to see that club and club face more in line with my left arm, so almost that club shaft being a continuation of my left arm. And how I'm going to do that is basically getting a little bit more roll in my left arm at the top, so keeping this left arm square as I go back, then allowing it to roll a little bit more at the top, which is obviously going to get the club a little bit more laid off. But as I come down here, it actually does shallow fairly nicely if we pause it parallel to the ground. I'd like to see the hands and club a little bit lower at this position because, you know, especially with driver, you really want to be coming in quite shallow and hitting up on the ball. And I would like to see the club face a little bit squarer as well. I don't currently have a hook in my locker, if you will. I can't hit a hook, which is not a bad thing at all, but it means it's a bit frustrating because it means if I can't hit a hook that I do struggle with squaring that club face up. My bad one is like a push slice, just going right, which is not a good shot to have. So I do want to straighten that out, and I want to do that by getting the club face squarer earlier. So as we come down through the ball, pretty nicely, good high, nice straight drive, and nice balanced finish, and pretty good there. So let's put these back to back first of all and see. You can see a bit more of how they've changed in comparison. So let's put these driver swings back to back, and you're going to be able to notice a lot of the differences I've just talked you through. From we've got the original swing on the left and new swing on the right. And if we play these back slowly and pause it parallel to the ground, you're going to notice. So first of all, let's have a look at the setup. First of all, setup, you're going to notice in the one on the left, I'm squatting down a lot more, is not good, and my hips are a lot further back. In the one on the right, I look more like a professional golfer. There's a few bits with my spine angle I'd like to change, kind of shoulder blades a little bit further back, and I've got a little bit of arch in my lower back which I'd like to fix a little bit, but overall not bad. As we take the club away and pose it parallel to the ground, much better position here, not so much hinge as early. I would still like to keep that face a bit square on the right, and also my kind of knees have not swayed to the right quite so much, a little bit too much still for my liking, but not quite so much. And you're going to notice as we slowly play it to the top that I keep the width a lot better and don't hinge nearly as much as we pause it at the top of the swing. We're also going to notice I have more width. The hands are further away from my right ear at the top of the swing. I have less wrist hinge, which for me is what I like to see. And the club is a little bit more in front of me. The hands are probably a little bit higher as well. And in terms of my body position, my lower body, not nearly so much sway in that lower body position, which is really good for me to see. As we slowly play it down, you're going to notice that the club will kind of shallow out a bit more on the right and flatten out a little bit more. As we pause it at parallel to the ground, it looks like I've got more width here, kept that width a little bit more, and I'm not going to have to release the hands and arms so much. There's a few things I'd like to change, but as we slowly play it through, you'll notice I'm not going to need such a big release. If we pause it at impact, actually, it definitely looks like a better position to me, and if we play it through, I'm driving through the ball and not having to release the club quite so much. So guys, that is my 3-month swing transformation. Now, there's a few things that aren't perfect there. There's a few things I still want to work on, and I'm going to be taking you through those things in one of my next videos when we compare my golf swing with Tiger's golf swing. We're going to put those back to back, and I'm going to talk you through some of the next things I will be working on. Some of the things we've actually talked through today will be much easier to see as well. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel, like this video, and comment your thoughts down below so you do not miss that video. Thank you so much for watching this, guys. I hope you have learned something, or it can help you with your golf swing and play some better golf, or, you know, just help educate you a little bit more. And yeah, hope you've enjoyed it. So give it a like, subscribe, comment your thoughts down below. See you in the next one, guys. As always, grip it and rip it.